Welcome, everyone, to the Spark the Genius podcast. I'm your host, Spark the Genius, and I'm here to spark the genius within you. That's my intro. My real name is Josh Rackless. Sometimes I go by Celebrity Josh. So we'll just see, we'll see what I wind up called by the end of this. Today, Monday, September 19th, the day after TIFF, we cannot get enough of TIFF at the Toronto International Film Festival. So we've got a TIFF person, somebody who's involved in TIFF, Kalaisan Kalaichelvan. Wait, let me try again. Kalaisan Kalaichelvan. No. Okay, you tell me.
That's pretty close, man. It's Kalaisan Kalaichelvan.
Kalaisan Kalaichelvan.
Yep.
That's what I meant. That was going to be my next guess. Awesome. Well, welcome. I am still in Toronto, and you are sort of in Toronto as well, but just a bit further north. So we're doing this online, and it's very exciting to have you. Are you in TIFF with Dwal? With Dwal?
Sure, a little bit. I mean, it's also been a lot, so I'm trying to wind down from all the TIFF activity. Get some rest, and digging into work for all the future things.
Oh, right. The world still keeps spinning. That's what I'm trying to realize. I'm like, oh my God, it's so sad. Like, I feel like it's the most fun thing. It's like TIFF and all these creative things and meeting people everywhere. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do the rest of my life now. But of course, there's other festivals. There's other creative things to work on. Don't have to be like that was the end of everything.
It doesn't stop, yeah.
No. So, all right. Well, first of all, you are a composer and classically trained pianist based in Toronto. Your compositional practice spans multiple disciplines, drawing from film, dance, theater, installation, and deals with themes of translation and transference. I may or may not be reading this off your website. Named by Ludwig van as one of 6 emerging Canadian composers to keep an eye on. So that's probably not the actual Beethoven, because he's been passed away for a while.
He's not around anymore, no.
But there's probably some kind of magazine or website named after him. And there's lots going on. So for TIFF, it says 2022 Kalaisan, did I say that right?
Kalaisan, yeah.
Kalaisan has scored feature films that have premiered at TIFF, This Place, and the Fantasia Film Festival, The Protector. Okay, so that's this year. So what did you have in TIFF? I think you had 2 things, or am I making that up?
The film I had in TIFF is just the one film.
Okay.
It's called This Place, directed by Nayani.
Oh, okay. And how did that do in the festival?
It did really well, man. Like, the audiences responded really well to it. It stars Deborah Jacobs, who is also a huge rising star right now. And it's a film that sort of celebrates Toronto and the people in it and all the places they come from and what they bring to this place. And, it's been great getting to see a lot of the emotional responses to the film and the music, and it's just been a pleasure to be a part of it.
Oh, man, I just looked up Deborah Jacobs. 224,000 Instagram followers. So she's not screwing around. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
she's on a new Marvel show now called Echo, and she was in one of the stars of Reservation Dogs, and she helped co-write or write some of the episodes in the second season under Taika Waititi. She's very big. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh no, I see the picture on Instagram of Echo. I don't even think I've heard of it, but I think I've just been.
It hasn't come out yet. It's on the way. Yeah.
I've been out of the loop. Usually I'm up on all these announcements and stuff, but I think just getting ready for TIFF and being all stressed. And it was only 2 days ago, this announcement anyways. Okay. So yes, I'm not that out of the loop. But there's that Marvel guy. What is that? Feige? Is that his name?
Kevin Feige? Sure,
yeah, it looks like he's announcing her. Oh my God. That's insane.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm 1 degree separation now from a Marvel star. That's very exciting. Okay. So this is a big deal. And how did you wind up scoring it? Or scoring it in both senses of the words.
Yeah, I mean, Nayani, the director, and I met at the Canadian Film Centre. We were both in residence there. She was part of the Director's Lab, and I was part of the Slate Music residency that was happening. And we kind of met, and we just really hit it off. We kind of spoke about our upbringings. We were both born and raised in Scarborough, Toronto, and what it was like being Tamil kids there. And then we just really liked the same movies and vibed on music and stuff. Then eventually she kind of was like, I've been working on this film for some time now, for a few years, and getting it off the ground. It's her first debut feature. and she's looking for a composer, and she asked me to try some things, and look at us. Now we're at TIFF. So,
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah.
crazy. I've been like during the pandemic when I'm like, oh, what do I do with my life? Should I pursue different things? I actually emailed the Canadian Film Center. I was trying to look into, what programs would there be for me, kind of thing, and that shows how good it is. Like even just aside from learning your craft and everything, you get to network with people that you could future work with.
Totally. They've been so great at building community that way, and you kind of just get. It's a great way to find like-minded people and people that you can build careers with, and that's been my experience. And yeah, just a great place and a home for that kind of thing.
How long is the program there?
It depends on what you're there for. So I
Yeah.
mean, when I was the music program that I was the residency that I was in is supposed to be 6 months, but when we were doing it, the pandemic kind of hit, so things got stretched like crazy, and it started off like over Zoom, and then in-person things happened, and then what was able to be shot and recorded was kind of crazy. So
Yeah.
it's been going for some time, but I think normally on a normal year it's a 6 month thing.
Well, that's not bad. I was thinking, I'd have to commit 3 years and I'll be
No,
in
no.
retirement home by then. Well, maybe I'll apply. Maybe I'll try screenwriting, or I don't even know what else. Directing? I don't know. I'd have to see. I haven't really directed much, but oh man, it would be my dream. I want to reboot my life. I want to restart. I want to go back to the beginning and be like, actually, this is what I want to do. So I've been working in advertising and
Nice.
met a lot of directors and actors and all this, and I've done my little acting and stuff in the meantime, but never really went full on. And just being at the festival, I realized, oh God, I love film so much. I want to be part of this, and I don't want to just be like somebody standing outside trying to get a signature, like an autograph from Harry Styles. I want to be like, no, I want to be part of it and making things and stuff. So
Yeah, it's hard not to be swept by the spirit of tiffing, and everyone.
Yeah.
Just a lot of young creative idealists out on
Yes.
King Street. It's hard. The energy is amazing.
what were you doing like before the film center? Like, how did you decide like to get into that? Were you already doing composing and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like, my career is a little circuitous. Like, I was always into music. As a child, I was kind of overprogrammed brown kid, sent to all my music lessons as a pianist and a flautist and a percussionist. And basically, I just really loved a lot of classical music and film music and stuff, so I would just write things for people, and people knew that in high school and stuff. But I went to university for my education was in biochem, and I'm a biochem major, and I worked in like cancer research for some time while doing music things on the side. And eventually I just came to terms with the fact that, am I really happy doing this? And decided to take the full plunge into music. And I've been since then I've been writing music for theater, dance, film, and concert music, of course. So yeah, it's been around for a while. And just now, this is my second feature at this place, which has been exciting.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to just get to work with a lot of different institutions. I was part of the Sundance Institute's one of the 6 composers that was part of their lab in 21, which was amazing. And a lot of my practice is also outside of film. I recently had a piece premiere for a string quartet at the Banff Center, and had some pieces premiere this year. So it's been a real mix of things, but film is a huge love of mine, always has been, and it's exciting to be working on it now.
That's so cool. A lot of, we always say in advertising, well, it's not a big deal. We're not curing cancer, but you were curing cancer. But I'm glad that you had, you were able to look at your life and go, what do I want to put all my time and energy, like, what do I want my life to be, right? Like a lot of people,
Totally.
including myself, just keep trucking because this is the one thing I started, and you don't really sit back and go, wait a minute. Like, do I love this so much that every morning I want to be doing this? And I love music too. Somebody showed me a few chords on a guitar in university, and I was like, I'm writing songs. And I probably would have been happy to be like, okay, this is what I do. Every morning I'm writing a new song and entertaining people and putting my whole energy into that. It never occurred to me until like decades later now. And I'm like, what if I'd done that? Or film or whatever. We can always, restart or whatever. But I'm glad you're living your dream, making music in so many venues. That's so cool.
Yeah, man. I think it's just about finding where your frequencies resonate the most, right? And then
Yeah.
when you find that and it feels right, then you just keep moving forward in that. And things click, I think. At least that seems to be my experience for now.
Yeah, seems to be working for you. So you did this film, and then the film got into TIFF, and then what became your involvement? Like, were you at TIFF? Were you at the screenings? Were you doing interviews?
Yeah, I was at the screenings. We had our premiere not 2 Fridays ago. Yeah, where's time?
Was
First
it the
Friday of TIFF.
Yeah, so that would have been September 9th, so like 10 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, TIFF goes around for a while. Jeez.
Well,
so
but you know
was-
what? I noticed it kind of, after the first weekend, it kind of dies off. I didn't realize until sort of the Thursday of it, like after a week, I'm like, oh, it's not just me trying to get on red carpets. You should be emailing the publicist, trying to get interviews so you can sit down and chat with people and actually have good talks. And by the time I was emailing Thursday morning, everybody was out of town. Like there was just like 1 or 2 people like, oh yeah, we're still kind of here. So now I know for next time or for future festivals. But yeah, it goes a long time, but it's not really.
Yeah. Well, everyone flies in just for the first
Yeah.
the first weekend and a few days, right? And then it's mostly just the Toronto folks that are still doing the TIFF things at the end. I think the second half of TIFF is more about watching the films you want to watch.
Yeah, that
Whereas
makes
I think
sense.
The first weekend is everyone networking and hitting the parties and all that stuff.
Now I get it. And I should know this. I was living in the TIFF building for 10 years, but I never really sort of analyzed what goes on. It was just kind of overwhelming. And then, but yeah, that's kind of what it is. Jennifer Lawrence, Steven Spielberg, they're all here on the first weekend. So woo!
Yeah.
But then, yeah, even Saturday, Sunday, there was still people, but everybody was going to the movies they've heard about and going to see the movies. And yeah,
Exactly. And, usually even my thing with TIFF is like, my thing is, I mean, the big movies are always great, but it's the small movies that you're not sure when you're going to ever see.
Yeah.
Again, those are the ones to catch. Because some of these, like, Knives Out, which I heard is a lot of fun, but it's going to be on Netflix in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, learning TIFF strategy is a whole thing, man. It's
Yeah, so and I used to write the ads for TIFF years and years ago, and they would walk around and be like, here, you want some tickets? I'm like, oh, I'll take that, sure. I don't know what that is. And I managed to, what did I see? Was it called Sideways or what, about wine or something? And I just
oh my
went,
god, yes.
yeah, and I just
That
like, I
movie's
didn't know what it
brilliant.
was. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
just like, oh, wow, that was kind of cool to see. So I kind of lucked out a couple of times, but yeah, I never really thought about it as a plan, and I never thought about, oh, you could actually go interview people. So it's all stuff I've been learning over like 15 years. But
It's
what was I
amazing.
gonna say? But yeah, I lucked out even. I didn't really go to anything. I went to one movie, The Swimmers, on the first night, and then I was just like, I just got to go interview people, like doing red carpets. But then I met this woman, Laura, who just on Instagram, I was messaging people, and she had a short film, and I went and saw her short film. And I think in that little bits, there was one about a flight attendant, and I was like, oh, that was interesting. And then at the award show yesterday, it wound up winning Best Short or something like that, and I interviewed the director quickly, and I'm like, oh. So out of hundreds of films, I happened to see one short film compilation, and then a winner was in there. So I'm like, that kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like hitting the lottery ticket.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm sure I never would have seen that short otherwise, kind of thing. So yeah, it's like
Right.
these little ones that, you can go see Steven Spielberg's movie anytime, probably, but
Yeah.
or mix it up, And even actually, I interviewed a director from the Philippines, and she had she did the last Midnight Madness night, and then she wound up,
will never die, right?
yeah,
That's the
and
thing.
that wound up winning an award at the thing too, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
I've been trying to catch that, but the timings didn't quite work out for me. I heard
Yeah.
amazing things about that film. I heard
yeah,
it's
and that was
very
cool. And it's by the end of it, like she had the last night Midnight Madness, like,
good. She
there
had
was
the
no-
first and the last, I think. She got 2 Midnight Madness screenings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, good for her. And then, yeah, so there was kind of nobody at the end there. I was sort of hanging out, and I got to say hi to her. I don't think they really had an official carpet kind of thing, as opposed to,
Right.
like, for the Weird Al, they had dancers. I mean, it was Daniel Radcliffe as well, kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting how it sort of peters out at the end, too. It's like, where's all the media? Well, they're not paying to be here, like, at the end, so.
Totally.
But
yeah.
but if you're a local person, you can sort of stay and be like, hey, I'm helping out, I'm covering things. So that's cool.
the
So
way to do it.
you got in there, yeah, you went to some, I guess you went to the screenings of this place, yeah? Or
I
a
did,
screening?
yeah. I went to the first and the last, and there were Q&As, and
Oh, cool.
and I also just got to speak to a lot of the people coming out of it and hear them respond emotionally to the film and the music as well, which was always
Yeah.
a little surprising to me, just because it's an abstract thing, right? You've been sitting with it by yourself for so long, and then to get to see the film in a room full of people responding to it, and then hearing people tell you what their connection was to the music and the film, it reminds you that these things we do impact people outside of just ourselves, and
Yeah.
it's a little humbling. So
For sure, and especially music, like, it is a big part of movies, but you sort of just experience the movie. You wouldn't, not a lot of people wouldn't be like, yes, I liked the music. Like, you wouldn't think of it as a separate thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. I mean, it's a testament to your work that people would even make a note of that and be like, oh, no, I really liked that, what you did there. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, I feel like with a lot of creative work, it's kind of, you're alone, you're sitting composing in your room, or what am I doing? If I'm writing a script or even just making YouTube videos, like, yeah, you don't see the people reacting, so it must be very nice to actually get to experience that.
yeah, I mean, it's the craziest thing. A friend was telling me this the other day, and just, like the actress Rashida Jones in Parks and Recreation, like, it's she lives her whole normal life, and then when people like come up to her like afterwards and gush about like it's so outside of your actual immediate reality that people are watching what you do.
Yeah.
So it's a little crazy when you're in a premiere or when you're interacting with people outside of the film itself. So
Yeah. Like, even my little experiences myself. I was acting in a movie in Ottawa recently, and one of the crew members is like, "Your voice sounds familiar. Are you Celebrity Josh?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I sometimes go by." He's like, "I listen to your podcast, but you haven't posted in a while." I'm like, "No, I've been kind of slacking on posting, but I've got lots of interviews." He's like, "Oh, you got to post." I'm like, "Who is this stranger that happens to listen to this thing that I didn't realize anybody listened to?" kind of thing. So
totally.
yeah, it's kind of fun. And when I was like 30 years ago, I was hosting on cable TV shows, and that was before the internet, so you didn't know if anybody was watching your stuff. But I remember I was in a toy store in the Eaton Center once, and I'm just doing voices with a couple of dolls, like, "Oh, I'm Bert and Ernie," whatever. And some girl's like, "Oh, you're Josh from the show. I watch your show every day. My friends can't believe it that oh my God, that that I've met you. They aren't going to believe it." And I'm like, wow. So yeah, so I guess it's like that, because you're filming something and that's your thing. But yeah, it's hard to picture. It's not like doing a play in front of people where you actually see the people. So
Yeah, totally.
do you play concerts as well, like in front of live people?
I don't perform as much anymore. I mostly write for ensembles that perform my work.
Oh, and do you find that fulfilling?
I do, yeah. I really just I think I've moved away from the performance space some time ago, and I really love the act of writing and creating as a composer, and more. It just starts to stimulate the part of my brain that's fascinated by like architecture and how sounds come together and work together. It's just a really cool thing. So that's where I am right now.
Well, that's good. Yeah, 'cause, again, everybody's got different things. Like, some people want to be Harry Styles, having people scream for them. Other people want to be in the background writing for other people. Some people do both. Like, we were talking this week about how, like, Prince, or I don't know, Dolly Parton or something, like, there's people that are big pop stars in their own right, but they also wrote a lot of songs for other people, kind of thing. So that's an interesting. Actually, I think Taylor Swift has written for other people. I don't know. Like, it sounds like. Yes, you can always do different kinds of things. Wow.
Yeah.
So what are you working on now? Like, what's post TIFF now?
It's honestly digging into just writing. Like, I'm currently working on another feature film right now, which I'm excited about, and it's by a really strong filmmaker named Zarar Khan, and it's a film set in Pakistan. So I'm very excited about it. So kind of in the middle of that, and I'm also working on my debut EP, which is coming up soon.
So that would be a record.
Yes.
And what, like classical music, or what's it gonna be?
It'll be in between genres of sort of experimental kind of thing.
So it's not you singing. It'll just be
I'm not a singer-songwriter, so that's not me. That's not my music.
Yep.
But it'll be an interesting play of sounds and kind of a mix between kind of the different genres I sort of operate in. So
that'll be so fun, because like I was thinking about that recently again. Like, yeah, I made a little cassette tape I rented a 4-track machine when I was in university, and I wrote all these songs for a girl, and I had an album, and I drew the cover and everything.
Yeah.
And it never occurred to me, oh right, send it to a radio, like, or to a record company or something, like, try to do something with it. So it now sounds like, actually having your own album that you can promote, and I don't know what you do with it, put it on Spotify or sell it in the street in CD form. I don't know, but it sounds like, and then you could do the interview circuit to get your PR person to be like, hey, we've got this new album, you got to interview about it, kind of thing.
Totally. That whole shebang starts again, and it's just like TIFF. No, totally, yeah. It's sort of just finding outlets to put your creative body of work out there, I think. Like, I think, the film space demands a certain kind of way of working, and then the concert music space demands another kind of way of working, and so to do something like this where it's kind of just me and I get to make the rules and do anything I want is kind of appealing. So kind of seeing what comes out of that.
Yeah, I can see how. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, without a director going, yeah. And also, like, for a movie, it's got to fit the scenes and stuff. It's not just you, like, here, what music do I feel like making? But it's nice to be able to exercise both muscles and be like, oh, do a bit of this, do a bit of that, work with people, work on my own.
100%.
Do you have like a studio at home with like a sound paneling and all of that?
Yeah, I've got my own studio in my home. Yep, with all that jazz and all my gear and my upright also, which I record on, and then some synths, all the fun stuff.
That's so cool. That's what I realized too. Like, since I started digital nomading, I'm like, oh, yeah, you can interview people on your phone or whatever, but it's nice to have a studio. Like, I had panels in my condo that I built for the ceiling. Like, I had somebody build them for the ceiling, the wall, so I could do my voice acting, not having to go into a closet or under a blanket. It was just like raw thing. So like having a proper setup. I wound up buying this portable voiceover box that you're supposed to like unfold and then go inside with your. I tried it once. I'm like, I cannot do this. I do not want to squeeze myself into this little box. So now I just go under blankets and stuff. But yeah, having a home studio is very cool, and then you can travel to promote your thing, and then come back home and record your stuff.
Yeah. Pretty much, man. It's also learning how to be comfortable to be on the go and still tap into things, which I think is sort of the life of an artist. But also, home is home, and your studio is your special space, right, for anyone.
Yeah.
It's always nice to be back in that.
That's cool. Yeah, I love reading about like celebrities like, I don't know, Bon Jovi or Prince with their their crazy studios where they can invite people in and
yeah. Some of that stuff. When you see them, it's insane how amazing they are.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? If you got all the money and that's what you love doing, why not build this thing?
Yeah.
Do you play all the instruments yourself then, or do you bring other people in and you're like, here, play the oboe or something?
Yeah, like in those cases, I usually bring musicians in. Like, I'm a pianist, and I tinker with other things, but mostly like with this place and stuff. We brought in a string quartet. We recorded with an oboist. There's a lot of different musicians. There was a brass quartet. There was another singer. So it was just a lot of live musicians that recorded on this, and that was very important to the work.
Yeah.
And it brought that quality to it. So yeah, I love working with musicians. I think that's how you discover things and find new colors to play with. Yeah,
I imagine it might be like acting or like directing a film. Like, the actor's going to bring something that wasn't in the script. Like, oh, right, now we're bringing it to they've got their own ideas.
Totally. I mean, like, it's often with a certain kind of musicians, I write everything and it's notated and scored, and you give sheets to either charts or sheet music to musicians, and then in the recording of it, we sometimes try things and we play with options like, what if you did it this way, or what if you did it that way? And that discovery part is always the best part of the process.
Wow, so fun. Do you ever film them, like, just so you've got, like, DVD extras or like for the music video or whatever?
Yeah, I have sometimes, not always. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to get the recording done, like a deadline, and you've got things for a few hours or whatever it is. But definitely, I've got stashed videos of just us goofing around. In sessions, which is always great.
And then when you're like the Beatles or whatever, they'll be like, oh, look, we got this archival footage. We've got the Kalaisan.
Peter Jackson makes a documentary about my life. Yes, that's
exactly. He'll be like, where's all the clips? Yeah. There's no excuse now. Like, was it Val Kilmer just happened to be filming his life on VHS tapes and stuff, but now it's like everybody's got their clips that you can dig up as long as you don't drop your phone and lose it all.
Yeah, it's weird because I think everything we're doing in our lives is so recorded and we don't even know about it. Like, we're so quick to get up our phones and take a picture or a video of things, and then we don't look at it forever.
Yeah.
So it's a weird world we live in where everything is being documented, and then it's always this culture of post-death. How do we, I don't know, dig into that?
Post-death? Is that what you said?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, when artists have passed away, like, there's this whole culture of, like, exploiting every piece of things that they had, and This
Yeah.
was, it happens to musicians where like people dig into their drives and see like every rough sketch and
Oh, right.
demo they do, and let's just put it out there.
Right, because they're hungry for, we need a new album, so now
Yeah.
we've got,
But those were never designed to be shared to the public either. Those
Yeah.
were like things that were just for the artists. So,
yeah.
but that's the world we live in, right? We
Yeah.
kind of mine everything from an artist or any, like it's a capitalist thing, right? Even past
Yeah, for
their
sure.
point. But
Yeah, and their estate wants to keep making some money and whatever.
yes, that's huge.
Yeah, they just put out, I think I saw an ad for, like, the new album from Tragically Hip. I'm like, the what? But it's some recording from something a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I was scrolling through Instagram yesterday, and I'm just like, and I see a picture, and I'm like, that looks like me. And I'm like, that is me. Who the hell is Andrew or whatever? And I had to look at this, and I realized, oh, it's a comedy show in Ottawa, and I happened to be sitting there, and he posted a picture or whatever. But it's like, yeah, there's pictures out there of you that you didn't even know. And I saw a
yeah.
reporter, I was looking at her feed yesterday. I'm like, oh, there's a picture of me with Keegan-Michael Key, like that she had tweeted out but didn't tag me or whatever. And I'm like, oh, so every now and then you'll see stuff about you out there, and you're like, wow, that's
Totally.
weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm always afraid to Google myself for exactly this reason, because
Yeah,
who knows what's out there, you know?
exactly. I guess the huge stars must get to the point where they're like, you know what, they're not going to worry about it. Like, there's going to be billions of posts about Joe Biden or Leonardo DiCaprio or whatever that they can't start worrying about every little thing.
Right.
But Keegan-Michael did say he runs his own Instagram, and I can DM him. So we'll
Wow.
see. We'll see. Although, and then I said, so I can message you every morning, like when I'm waking up. I said, no, let's take it slow. Like, I don't need. Let's chill out for a minute. And I'm like, okay. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And did you do other interviews for TIFF? Like, how does all the publicity work and all that?
Yeah, it's I've been doing a bunch actually, and that's sometimes a lot. I'm not used to all this press condensed into
Yeah.
a few days, but it's been a lot, but also good getting to just talk about the
Yeah.
film and the music and do
Well, that's what you get for, connecting to a Marvel-related type of thing. You're gonna now, if you Google yourself, if you'd probably show up everywhere. That's kind of fun.
Oh man.
Are you going to be involved in? I guess this movie must be going around to other film festivals. Are you going to travel to those or get involved? I guess you got your own stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, it just really depends on schedules. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to support the film and the team and
Yeah.
and Nayani and wishing her all the best and stuff. But
Yeah.
if there's ever a cool trip to some cool
Yeah,
festival, I'm always down to go.
Exactly. You don't
Timing
need
has to work out.
You don't need to go to the festival in the middle of the nowhere. But everybody's like, oh, what? There's one in France. There's one in LA. I might be able to come down.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cool cities. I'll come down. Why not?
Exactly. All right. Well, you can send me as your ambassador to the other ones. It'd be like accepting the composing award on behalf is
Done.
is Spark the Genius.
Amazing. I love that. I'm gonna give your name like right after this. This is
Awesome.
great.
Because they're even at the award show yesterday. There were so many of people like, here's a note I'm reading because they couldn't be here. So
Yeah.
maybe that could be my career. That I could be the official, reading the note on behalf of people.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm surprised that's not there.
Yeah, why
around
not?
yet.
Why
I
isn't
think
that
you
a
should
thing?
start that, man. Like,
All right,
it sounds
look at
very
this.
promising.
Excellent. I love when I come up with coming up with an idea in an interview with creative people.
You heard it here first, folks. This
We
is
have sparked the genius within ourselves. Excellent.
amazing.
Well,
Amazing.
thank you so much. And, I was going to say, like, if I have a song I wrote with a few chords or something, maybe we could collab sometime. You could be like, oh, yeah, I can put a little piano in there and make it, like, all fancy.
I love that. Send it my
Alright.
way, man. I'm always looking for people to have music hangs with, so it's
That's great. I used to record in the bathroom in residence in university and for the echoes and stuff, and we'd have a little tape and stuff. But now you could just record something, throw it on TikTok, throw it on Spotify, see what happens.
It's weird, the world we live in. It's never been easier to try or start making music, but that's also what makes it so exciting. It's accessible now.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I keep thinking. It's like, why don't I just take some of my old songs and just play 30 seconds of it a day on TikTok? Here's a mini sample of my love song or whatever, and just get it out there. Because, when I was young, it's like, what am I going to do with this cassette tape? Like, people would come to my res room or whatever, and then, that's it. But now, there's no excuse. So
No excuse.
get
it
your
out there,
stuff
man. I'm
Exactly.
looking forward to hearing it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And, Everybody follow. Are you on the gram? Should people follow you on social media?
Follow me on the social media, the gram. Yeah, it's Kalaisan13. Kalaisan 13.
Oh, just like Taylor Swift 13. Isn't that her thing?
Is it?
I think so.
Yes, Taylor Swift and I are the same person.
Yeah, exactly. Aha! Big twist ending
Spoilers.
to this interview.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much. We'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thanks, Josh.